6 years ago, I put together a review of the Wilson Audio Sabrinas alongside the ModWright SWL 9.0, PH 9.0, and KWA SE100. Now, 6 years is a long time. I can't believe it's been that long, actually. And while everything that I said in that video still holds up, I'd like to think that I've grown a bit since then, and sometimes revisiting older reviews with a fresh pair of ears and a new perspective is worth considering. So on today's Frequency Friday, let's turn back the clock, crack open this cardboard box, and give this old PH 9.0 a quick listen and a refresh. Before we get to cracking, if you consider yourself an audiophile or a music enthusiast, welcome home. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you know when the next video drops. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing the PH 9.0, and yes, this serves as your official ethics statement. ModWright sent me this unit for review 6 years ago, and after the review was posted, they kindly gave me the unit as a gift. Now, I know there is always a chance that this could introduce a bit of bias, and I recognize this, but as you folks already know, I strive to be as honest and transparent as possible, which is, of course, why I'm telling you this. So, ethics statement is out of the way, and there is nothing to hide, so let's dive in and get ourselves reacquainted with an old friend, the ModWright PH 9.0. The PH 9.0 is ModWright's answer to those who want reference level sound just like the PH 150, but in a more compact form factor and, of course, at a lower price point. Like the Manley Oasis that we checked out last week, the 9.0 is a full tube design with a few unique features that a lot of folks will appreciate. Right up front, one standout feature is the ability to adjust loading and gain directly from the front panel. No more putzing around with toothpicks or teeny tiny dip switches. Even better, you can make these adjustments on the fly. For me, this is a big deal, and I'm just going to show you right now how cool this feature really is. As you guys know, every cartridge, especially moving coil cartridges, requires some fine-tuning to sound their best. Manufacturers provide recommended impedance and capacitance settings, and while these guidelines are useful and a great place to start, in my experience, what's correct on paper doesn't always translate to what actually sounds best. While you grab yourself a pair of headphones, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Tossing on the Goldring Ethos SE, which has a recommended load resistance of 100 ohms, we can quickly dial this in, and with the drop of a needle, not bad, right? Well, my friends, let's try that one more time, but also play the same clip with the loading set to 250 ohms. It might be hard to hear at first, but if you pay close attention and play the clips again, listen to them a couple of different times, there is more body in the 250 ohm setting, and to me, it sounds more engaging and more dynamic. So my point here is this. With the front dial being so easy to switch, and with the ability to listen on the fly, the 9.0 makes it really easy to trust your ears and just dial things in without grabbing toothpicks and flicking dip switches on the back of a unit. Now, while we're at it, you can also change the gain in real time as well. While I do recommend turning your volume down, or even better, using the mute option on the left dial to avoid any loud pops or thumps, which your woofers will not love, you can indeed switch between 66 decibels in the middle or 0 dB position, 60 decibels in the negative 6 dB position, or 52 decibels in the negative 12 dB position. And of course, moving magnet cartridges aren't left in the dust either. With the left dial, you can also select moving magnet, connect the table to the moving magnet inputs on the back of the unit, and just like that, you have 47K enabled by default, which covers, 95% of all magnet carts out there. Firing up the 9.0 this week has been like tossing on an old pair of well-worn Chucks. Everything that I'm hearing in the 9.0 confirms that not only was I right in the original review of this thing 6 years ago, but in the sound shed, which is a much better listening room than I had all those years ago, I'm able to appreciate so much more of what this little box of magic has to offer. Of course, we have tubes, and of course, 6922s are one of my all-time favorites. After throwing in some Telefunkens that I have laying around and letting this thing rip, I was immediately drawn to the 9.0's imaging and soundstage. Just like the Oasis that we reviewed, the 9.0 sounds holographic and does an amazing job of rendering vocals in a natural and engaging way. Instrument separation is also fantastic, and I had no issues with hearing every individual instrument's placement within the stage. Resolution and bandwidth is also splendid, and at no point did I hear anything that sounded truncated or soft in the top end. Now, the 9.0 also sounds very detailed and articulate, but don't confuse that for forward or bright, two totally different things. Just like the Oasis that we recently checked out, the 9.0 laughs at the notion of tubes sounding rolled off on the top end. That is to say, the air and articulation of the 9.0 is one of its strongest attributes, and it makes catching every little cough, sneeze, or chair squeak in the recording easy to hear and appreciate. All time domain information is accounted for, with complex overtones and harmonics to really sink your teeth into. The 9.0 is definitely a stunner when it comes to showing off all the intricate details hidden in the grooves of the record. So of course, inquiring minds would love to know, right after the heels of a rather enthusiastic review of the Manley Labs Oasis, how does the 9.0 stack up, and what are the key differences between these two phono stages? So, after spending some time getting acquainted with the 9.0, I do think that both of these stages sound more alike than they do different. Both excel at soundstage and imaging, both offer top to bottom resolution without sacrificing extension, and both sound incredibly dynamic and punchy. Going back and forth a number of times, I did take note that the Oasis did seem to offer a tad more body and weight below the belt. It is subtle, and of course with YouTube compression, it might not translate here, but don't you worry! I figured out a clever way to show you what we are about to hear. In Final Cut Pro X, I do have the ability to analyze the audio in real time. So as these tracks play, you can see a little more lift at the bottom end of the Oasis, which is exactly as I heard it in room and in these clips. So toss on a pair of headphones and let's go ahead and give this a quick listen. Now, outside of this one detail, I think we have a pretty fair fight on our hands, and in some cases, the functionality or ease of swapping on the fly might be the reason that someone would go with the 9.0 over the Oasis. But what if there was some magical wand that Dan could wave and, oh, I don't know, maybe, just maybe, put the hurt on the Oasis? So there are two upgrades that Dan offers his customers who already own the 9.0 or those who are buying one for the very first time. The X upgrade involves the addition of a pair of Lundahl gapped output transformers commonly used in SET tube amplifiers. The addition of these transformers also means the elimination of a pair of chokes and coupling caps, all in the signal path. The second upgrade, known as the T upgrade, involves the addition of a tube rectified power supply. Now, Dan's been experimenting with this for quite some time, and after comparisons to the stock solid state rectifier, he feels the sonic benefits are obvious and worthwhile. As for pricing, the stock 9.0 costs $3,500, the X upgrade brings the price up to $4,750, and the T upgrade brings the price up to $5,250. Now, with these upgrades, I am more than curious about what we can expect and what the sonic differences are as we climb up the ModWright ladder. So here is the plan. I'm going to box this guy up and I'm going to send it over to Dan, and I'm going to just let him go to town with this thing. As soon as I get it back, I'll revisit the 9.0 and I will do a complete review after these upgrades. And with that, I'll see you ModWright loving audiophiles in the next video.